Homesteaders everywhere are learning a hard truth. Feed costs are rising faster than ever, and winter hay doesn't stretch the way it used to. Even well-managed pastures struggle to keep up with long dry seasons and unpredictable weather. That pressure has pushed many small farmers to rethink the kind of cattle they raise. Instead of relying on big, high-maintenance animals that burn through hay, more people are choosing breeds that deliver real savings without sacrificing quality. That shift is changing the way modern homesteads operate. Today's cattle keepers want animals that hold condition on modest forage, stay productive through tough weather, and don't drain the feed budget every time the climate turns harsh. In this video we explore 3 breeds that have built their reputation on doing exactly that. These cattle are proving that you can raise beef or milk, keep your land healthy, and cut your feed bill all at the same time. Among the breeds turning heads for their hay-saving ability, the Dexter cattle breed has become something of a homestead legend. At first glance, the Dexter does not look like the typical beef or dairy animal most people expect. Their compact frame is part of their charm, but it is also the key to their efficiency. A Dexter needs noticeably less hay and grain to maintain its body weight. Many families with smaller acreage find that a pair of Dexters fits their land far better than one large beef cow. They graze efficiently, clean up pasture that big cattle leave behind, and keep condition on what many would call modest forage. When winter rolls in, the cost advantage becomes even more obvious. Homesteaders often report that a Dexter cow can thrive on a fraction of the hay required by bigger breeds, sometimes up to half depending on the management system. Yet even with their small size, they raise hardy calves that grow surprisingly fast thanks to their thrifty nature. Beyond their feed efficiency, Dexters carry another advantage that homesteaders love. They offer both milk and beef in a package that never feels excessive. A Dexter cow gives enough milk for a household without overwhelming daily chores, and she can do it while still feeding her calf. The breed's calm nature fits well with beginners, families, and anyone who wants cattle that feel manageable. Many people keep Dexters because they deliver so much value per acre. The savings show up not only in hay but in fencing, shelter, and overall resource use. Their rugged Irish background shines through in their weather tolerance. Whether grazing in summer heat or pushing their noses through snow for grass, they simply adapt. That resilience is worth a lot because you never have to compensate with extra feed just to keep them comfortable. When a cow can stay warm, stay productive, and stay thrifty all at once, you see the difference in your wallet. Another breed that has earned a loyal following among homesteaders who want to cut hay consumption is the Highland cattle breed. Those long horns and shaggy coats might look charming, but they are more than decoration. Highland cattle developed in the harsh Scottish Highlands, one of the toughest grazing environments in Europe. Over centuries, they evolved into natural foragers that know how to make the most of every blade of grass. On a homestead, that trait becomes pure gold. Highland cattle do not waste energy the way some heavier breeds do. Their thick coat protects them from cold, which means they do not need as many calories in winter just to stay warm. That single feature alone turns into real hay savings over the course of a year. Many Highland owners note that these cattle often thrive on rougher forage that other breeds ignore. They browse weeds, brush, and coarse grasses, and they convert all of it into steady body condition. The Highlands' ability to winter well without heavy feeding is one of the biggest money savers for small producers. Instead of watching cattle lose weight in cold conditions, you see them maintain a steady frame with little extra input. Their calm temperament also makes them easier to manage when weather gets tough. A Highland cow will take her calf into the windbreak and stay comfortable in conditions that send other breeds looking for a barn. That means fewer emergency feedings, fewer surprises, and fewer chores that require extra hay. Their natural mothering ability adds another advantage. Highland cows rarely need help at calving, and they raise strong calves on grass alone. The result is a breed that keeps your operation simple and predictable. When you add up the reduced hay, reduced labor, and reduced stress, you begin to understand why so many homesteaders swear by them. The market for Highland beef has also grown steadily because people appreciate its flavor, leanness, and rich texture. That gives homesteaders not just cost savings but also a potential premium if they sell meat locally. The breed's slower growth rate can sometimes look like a drawback on paper, but its low maintenance needs often offset that. You spend less on feed overall, which means your final cost per pound can actually be lower than faster-growing cattle that eat significantly more. In other words, Highlands shift the balance. Instead of trying to push cattle to grow quickly with high-input diets, you let them grow naturally on forage that costs you almost nothing. This approach fits perfectly with homesteading where sustainability, low stress, and lower bills matter more than hitting commercial feedlot numbers. On the opposite side of the world, the rugged Australian landscape produced another breed famous for stretching every ounce of feed. The Droughtmaster cattle breed has become a favorite for people who want animals that stay productive even when pasture quality drops. Although the name comes from Australia's notoriously dry climates, the Droughtmaster's advantages show up anywhere hay is expensive or grass is not guaranteed. They are a tropically adapted beef breed created by crossing British Shorthorn cattle with Bos indicus types like Brahman. That mix gave the Droughtmaster the ability to maintain body condition in weather that would drain many traditional breeds. For homesteaders, this durability means fewer extra feedings, fewer nutritional crashes, and far fewer surprises in seasons when grass is late or hay supplies tighten. What sets Droughtmasters apart is how well they utilize medium and low-quality forage without losing productivity. They are steady grazers that convert even sparse pasture into weight gain. When winter arrives or when pasture dries out, Droughtmasters do not balloon your hay bill. They maintain themselves on modest rations and stay in breeding condition naturally. Their disease resistance and hardiness add another layer of savings. Healthier cattle mean fewer vet bills, fewer supplements, and fewer losses. The breed's temperament is another pleasant surprise. Droughtmasters are calm and adaptable, which makes them ideal for small operations that value low-stress handling. You never feel like you are fighting your cattle. Instead, you work with animals that seem to understand your routine. That smooth relationship makes a huge difference during tight feed seasons where management matters. The beef quality from Droughtmasters has helped the breed gain international traction. They produce tender, well-marbled meat even when raised primarily on grass. That gives homesteaders a reliable end product without depending on expensive finishing diets. When you combine strong maternal traits, efficient forage conversion, and dependable fertility, you get cattle that perform well year after year. In the long run, Droughtmasters pay for themselves by reducing hay consumption over the lifetime of the animal rather than just during a single season. This long-term efficiency is exactly what small farmers look for when building a sustainable herd. When you place breeds like Dexter's, Highlands, and Droughtmasters side by side, one theme becomes clear. The best hay-saving cattle are the ones that evolved or were developed in environments that demanded efficiency. These animals do not rely on luxury feeding programs to stay productive. They thrive on the kind of forage you already have. They handle tough weather without doubling their calorie needs. And they stay healthy with fewer interventions. For homesteaders, that combination is a lifeline. It means you can keep cattle even if your land is limited, your hay supply is unpredictable, or your winters get longer than expected. It means you can raise meat or milk without watching your feed budget spin out of control. What many people discover once they switch to a more efficient breed is that the savings extend beyond hay. Smaller or more efficient cattle reduce pressure on your fencing because they are calmer and easier on pasture. They reduce soil compaction. They reduce the time you spend rotating pastures or moving bales. You begin to feel a rhythm with your land that you may not have felt before. Grass lasts longer. Hay stacks last longer. Stress fades. The animals seem to fit your farm instead of fighting it. Over time, This creates a system where you can predict your needs more accurately and manage your resources more wisely. That is the hidden value of choosing the right breed. Every homestead is different, of course. Some people want cattle that give both milk and beef. Others want rugged beef animals that can handle cold winters. Others want heat-tolerant cattle that stay efficient through long dry spells. What matters is that you pick cattle that make sense for your land instead of cattle that demand constant inputs. When you do that, your feed bill becomes manageable. Your workload becomes lighter. Your animals become healthier and more productive. You stop dreading winter hay costs and start enjoying a more sustainable, balanced operation. The future of small-scale cattle raising will reward breeds that deliver value through efficiency. With hay prices going up, land pressure increasing, and weather patterns shifting, thrifty cattle will become even more important. Dexters, Highlands, and Droughtmasters show exactly what that future looks like. They prove that you do not need giant animals or massive feed inputs to raise quality beef or milk. You just need the right genetics and the right match for your environment. These breeds give homesteaders something priceless, the chance to raise cattle without draining the bank account. As you have seen, saving on hay starts long before winter arrives. It starts with choosing the right genetics. Some cattle are simply built to work with nature instead of fighting against it. They stay thrifty on pasture, they handle cold or heat without extra feed, and they raise strong calves while keeping your costs under control. Breeds like these give homesteaders the freedom to grow without stretching their resources too thin. When you match efficient cattle with thoughtful management, the results show up in your wallet, your herd health, and your land. If you are dreaming of a herd that fits your acreage, respects your budget, and still delivers the beef or milk you want, these breeds offer a smart way forward. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment about the cattle you are raising or planning to raise. Your experiences help others on the same journey.